Hi there, I'm recording this video to walk you through the process of getting your artwork files print ready using our Figma templates. So to get started, we'll click the Get a Copy button, and that'll prompt you to sign up for a Figma account. And not to worry, Figma is a free to use tool, and it's as easy as providing your email and getting started. So let's click that button, and that'll duplicate the file and allow for you to modify it. Now before I get started, it's important to understand some of the basics of Figma. So if you hold the Control key on your keyboard and you scroll with your mouse, that'll allow you to zoom in and out. And then if you hold the spacebar key on your keyboard and you left click with your mouse, it'll allow you to move around the file. So now that's out of the way, let's shift our attention to this side of the page. This right here represents the print area that you're working with. So every print area is different, and therefore its dimensions and its name will appear differently up top. More importantly, this is a visual representation of the print area that you're working with, and it allows to give you perspective on how big your print will be and what position it will be printed if we follow the guidelines correctly. So I'll go ahead and hold the Control key to zoom in, and as you can see here, this represents the 12 by 16 box, which is this print area, and ideally we would recommend it be sized and positioned this way to get the best print result. So if I scroll out and now I shift my attention to this side of the page, you'll see that this grid represents exactly what you're seeing on this side of the page, and that'll allow for you to understand exactly how your artwork will be printed. Now, one last thing to mention is this product on this side doesn't always represent the product that you may be printing on. In some cases, some products share the same print area. So for example, a t-shirt and a crew neck sweatshirt might have the same print area, and ultimately it's just switching out the product or visualizing a different product in this case, but the print result will always be the same. So with that in mind, let's go back to this side of the page. And if we read the text up top, we'll see that the first sentence reads, the top boundary of the print area is represented by the red line. So the red line is what represents the top of this print area box. So ultimately, the lower that we position our design, the further away we go from the collar. Now, with all that being said, let's look at the design in the grid here. In order to edit this design, we'll want to first double click, left click it, and that'll allow us to now move it. And if I'm zoomed out and I'm paying attention to this frame, you can see how as I'm moving this design, it's now updating on that side so I can understand how my changes on this side will affect my final print result. So if we want to go back to the default position, we can just press Control and Z on our keyboard, and you can use the Control Z key to undo any changes. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and double left click this design, and then we'll double left click it one more time. And now you'll see on the right panel this fill layer. So this fill layer represents the image that's currently added to the grid, and by clicking it, it'll allow us to browse our computer for a different file. So in this case, I'll use this graphic as an example, and as soon as I select that graphic, you're going to notice how this frame is now updated. So let's close this window. We'll left click anywhere off the page, and then now we'll notice how our graphic is updated on this side of the page as well. So now that I have the image updated in the file, I can now resize it and reposition it. So let's double left click one more time, and here is where I can hold the Shift and the Alt key at the same time and now resize it evenly like this. So of course, it might be a good idea for me to stay zoomed in to understand how big my file is. And as you can see here, this is a 12 by 16 grid. So by maxing out the width, I know that my image is 12 inches wide, but do keep in mind that this image is not close cropped. So it's as wide as the frame that it's in. So if I truly want it to be 12 inches wide, I'm probably going to have to go a little bit wider. And it's okay if the frame goes outside of the grid because it's everything within the grid that will be printed. So let's just say that's as wide as I want it to be. And then now I'm looking at the marker. I want this design to be 2 inches down from the top. So in that case, I'll just simply hold the Shift key and left click with my mouse and then drag it slowly down. And if I want to perfect it, I can even use the arrow keys on my keyboard. So the up and down arrow keys will allow me to move it up and down. So now that my design is positioned and sized accordingly, let's check the preview. And as we can see, the design is just next to the boundaries of this border, which is perfect because anything within this border will be printed, anything outside of it would get cut off. So now that I'm happy with the position and the size of my design, I can export the file and then upload it to the Print Simple platform, knowing that my file will be print ready. So in order to do that, we'll left click, and then if you were to press either the Control, Shift, and E key, you'll see that this export button will appear in the top. If not, you can also scroll down to the right side of your page and you'll see this option in the bottom. Or you can go to File, Export. So whichever way makes more sense for you, whether you're using the hotkey, you're looking down here, or you go to your file, export, they will all provide you with the same result, which will allow you to export this file. So now that the file is exported, let's go to Photoshop and see how it looks. And just keep in mind that you can also use Photoshop to do the same thing. So if you were to create a 12 by 16 canvas and then position your artwork within this canvas to be able to upload it to the Print Symbol platform, that works too. We just prefer Figma because of all the benefits of allowing for you to see the markers right here in the file and also the ability to preview how your design changes in respect to the print area that you're working with. So we hope all this information was helpful, and please let us know if you have any questions. Thank you.